Quick challenge. Which sentence sounds natural? I used to wake up early. I'm used to waking up early. I'm getting used to waking up early. They look almost identical, but one talks about your past, one describes your life today, and one describes a change that's happening right now.
And here's why this matters. Millions of English learners understand these expressions, but still choose the wrong one in real conversations. Stay with us, because after today's lesson, you'll stop guessing and start using used to, be used to, and get used to the way native speakers naturally do.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to Talk Bella. I'm Bella.
And I'm Ryan.
Have you ever stopped in the middle of a sentence because you weren't sure whether to say used to, be used to, or get used to? If you have, you're definitely not alone.
Thousands of English learners know these expressions, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. Not because they don't know English, but because they don't know which one sounds natural.
And that's exactly what we're fixing today. This isn't going to feel like a grammar class. It's going to feel like two friends helping you speak real English with confidence.
You'll hear real conversations, discover the mistakes learners make most often, and practice with situations Americans use every single day.
And at the end of today's episode, we'll put everything together in our 10-question native speaker challenge. No memorizing, no guessing, just real English, the way it's actually spoken.
So, if you're ready to stop hesitating and start choosing the right expression naturally, let's begin with the one almost every English learner hears first. Used to.
Now, let's imagine something. 2 years ago, you moved to New York. At first, the city felt loud, busy, a little overwhelming. But today, you don't even notice it anymore. Why? Because you're used to it.
And that's where English changes completely. A few minutes ago, we learned used to. That talks about a habit or situation in the past. But now, we're talking about something very different.
Be used to doesn't describe your past, it describes your present. It means something feels normal, comfortable, familiar.
Here's an easy way to remember it. If used to looks backward, be used to looks at today.
Did you know Americans use I'm used to almost every day? Not because they're talking about grammar, but because they're talking about life. A new job, a new city, a relationship, working from home, even waking up early. It's one of the most common expressions in everyday English.
Listen to these. I'm used to cold weather. She's used to working late. We're used to heavy traffic. My parents are used to living in a small town.
Did you notice something? After be used to, we don't use a normal verb. We use a noun or a verb ending in ing.
Which sentence sounds natural? A. I'm used to wake up early. B. I'm used to waking up early. Take 3 seconds. What's your answer? Pause.
The answer is B. I'm used to waking up early, because after be used to, the verb ends in ing.
Ryan, are you used to recording podcasts now?
Definitely. The first few episodes were stressful. I worried about every mistake. But now, I'm used to speaking into the microphone.
Same here. I'm used to talking in front of a camera now, but I wasn't at the beginning.
And that's something almost every content creator experiences. At first, everything feels uncomfortable. Then one day, it just feels normal.
Close your eyes for a second. Think about your own life. What's something that felt strange a year ago but feels completely normal today? Maybe driving, speaking English, using your new phone, living in a different city. That's exactly where native speakers use I'm used to.
But here's the really interesting part. What if something doesn't feel normal yet? What if you're still adapting? Native speakers don't say, I'm used to. They use a completely different expression. And that's the one we're learning next. All right, we've talked about used to, and we've talked about be used to. Now it's time for the expression that causes the most confusion, get used to.
And here's the easiest way to understand it. Imagine you just started a brand new job. The first week, everything feels different. New coworkers, new schedule, new responsibilities. You're not comfortable yet, but every day it gets a little easier.
That's exactly what get used to means. It describes the process of becoming comfortable with something. You're changing, you're adapting. You're not there yet, but you're getting there.
Here's something interesting. Native speakers don't usually say, "Don't worry, one day you'll be comfortable." Instead, they almost always say, "You'll get used to it." It's one of the most common comforting expressions in American English.
Moving to a new city? You'll get used to it. Starting college? You'll get used to it. Working night shifts? You'll get used to it. Learning English? Yes, you'll get used to it.
Listen carefully. I'm getting used to my new apartment. She's getting used to working from home. They're getting used to American food. My parents are getting used to using smartphones.
Can you hear the pattern? Get used to always shows change, not the past, not something that's already normal, the journey between those two. Which sentence sounds natural? A, I'm getting used to wake up early. B, I'm getting used to waking up early. Take a moment. Which one would you choose? Take a moment.
The answer is B. I'm getting used to waking up early. Just like be used to, after get used to, we use a noun or a verb ending in ing.
Ryan, do you remember your first podcast recording?
Oh, absolutely. I was so nervous. I kept looking at the microphone instead of the camera.
Same here. I remember thinking, will this ever feel natural?
But after recording every week, I slowly got used to speaking naturally. Now it feels completely normal.
Exactly. First, you're getting used to something. Then, one day, you're simply used to it. A friend of mine moved from a quiet town to New York City. During her first month, she couldn't sleep because of the traffic. She missed home. She wanted to move back. But after 6 months, she smiled and said, I'm finally getting used to city life. A year later, she said, I'm used to it now. Did you notice? First, getting used to. Later, used to. That's real English.
Here's a simple trick. Think of these three expressions as a timeline. Used to, life before. Getting used to, life is changing. Be used to, life feels normal now. One timeline, three expressions.
But now comes the part that even advanced English learners often get wrong. People mix all three expressions together in the same conversation. Let's fix those mistakes before they become habits. All right, now it's time for something really important. We've learned all three expressions, but knowing them and using them correctly are two very different things.
Exactly. And these are the mistakes English teachers hear every single day. The good news? Once you notice them, they're surprisingly easy to fix. I'm used to wake up early.
Does that sound natural? Not quite. The correct sentence is, I'm used to waking up early.
Remember, after be used to, we use a noun or a verb ending in ing, not the base verb. Quick challenge. Which one is correct? A, I'm used to drive at night. B, I'm used to driving at night. Correct answer? B.
Another very common mistake. The correct sentence is, I'm getting used to living here.
Again, after get used to, always use ing. Living, working, driving, speaking, studying.
This mistake happens because learners mix two different expressions together. I am used to belongs to today's life. I used to belongs to the past.
So compare these. I used to play soccer. That means I played before, but I don't anymore. I'm used to playing soccer. That means playing soccer feels normal to me now. Completely different meanings.
Whenever you hear I am, your brain should immediately think be used to. Whenever you hear I used, your brain should think past habit. That simple trick helps thousands of learners.
This one surprises almost everyone. Many learners write, I didn't used to, but native speakers actually say, I didn't use to.
Why? Because did already shows the past, so the main verb goes back to its base form. Listen carefully. I used to play. I didn't used to play. Small difference, but very important.
Imagine your first week at a new job. Would you say, I'm used to my new job? Probably not, because you're still adapting. The better sentence is, I'm getting used to my new job.
Now imagine 6 months later, everything feels normal. Now you say, I'm used to my new job. That's how native speakers think. They don't memorize rules. They simply ask themselves, am I still adapting, or does this already feel normal?
Let's make this incredibly simple. Used to, left past life. Getting used to, life is changing. Be used to, life feels normal. 3 expressions, 1 timeline.
Let's see how you're doing. Which sentence sounds the most natural? A, I used to living in Boston. B, I'm getting used to living in Boston. C, I'm used living in Boston. Take a few seconds.
The answer is B. I'm getting used to living in Boston. If you got that right, you're making great progress.
But we're not finished yet. Now it's time for something much more exciting. Instead of short examples, you're about to hear a real conversation where native speakers naturally use used to, be used to, and get used to together. See if you can spot every one before Bella explains them.
All right.
We've talked about the past.
We've talked about the present. Now let's talk about change.
Because life changes.
New jobs, new cities, new schools, new routines.
And that's exactly when native speakers use get used to.
Here's an easy way to remember it. Get used to means you're in the process of adapting. Not completely comfortable yet, but you're getting there.
Think about your very first week at a new job. Everything feels different. The people, the schedule, the computer system.
At first, you might say, I'm not used to this job yet.
But after a few weeks,
You can say, I'm getting used to this job.
see the difference? You're changing, you're adapting. The process is happening right now.
Let's look at some real-life examples. I'm getting used to waking up early.
Maybe you started a new job last week. It's still difficult, but every morning gets a little easier.
Another one. She's getting used to living in New York.
Big city, lots of noise, busy streets, different lifestyle. She's adapting little by little.
How about this? We're getting used to American English.
Maybe at first, native speakers talked too fast, but now you're understanding more every day.
Here's a question for you. Which sentence sounds right? A. I'm getting used to drive on the left. Or B. I'm getting used to driving on the left. Take a second. What's your answer?
The correct answer is B. I'm getting used to driving on the left.
Remember, after get used to, we use noun or verb plus ing, never the base verb.
Let's practice. He's getting used to working from home. They're getting used to the cold weather. I'm getting used to speaking English every day.
Now imagine this. You move from a small town to New York City. During your first month, you probably wouldn't say, I'm used to New York.
Because you're not comfortable yet. Instead, you'd say, I'm getting used to New York.
But 6 months later, once everything feels normal, you'd naturally say, I'm used to living in New York.
Did you notice that? Native speakers move from getting used to used to as they become comfortable.
That's why these two expressions are closely connected. One describes the journey, the other describes the destination.
And here's something interesting. English learners often understand the grammar, but they choose the wrong expression because they don't think about time.
Ask yourself one simple question. Am I still adapting? If the answer is yes, use getting used to.
But here's where many learners make their biggest mistake. They confuse all 3 expressions in the same conversation, and that's exactly what we're going to fix next. Because in the next section, Bella and I are going to compare used to, be used to, and get used to, side by side, so you'll instantly know which one to use in real conversations.
All right, this is a section most English learners have been waiting for because now
We're putting all 3 expressions side by side, and once you see them together, everything finally starts to make sense.
here's the biggest mistake learners make. They memorize 3 separate grammar rules instead of seeing one simple timeline. Today, we're going to change that.
Imagine you move from Brazil to the United States. Your English journey has 3 stages.
Stage 1, the past. Before you moved, you might say, I used to live in Brazil.
That's simply a past fact. It was true before, it isn't true now.
Stage 2, the change.
Now you've just arrived in America. Everything feels different. The language, the food, the culture.
So naturally, you'd say, I'm getting used to living in the United States. You're still adapting. Every day gets a little easier.
Stage 3, the present.
Fast forward 1 year, life feels normal now. You understand people, you know your neighborhood, you have friends.
Now you say, I'm used to living in the United States. No more adapting. It feels normal.
Did you notice? One life, 3 different stages. Past, change, present comfort.
Let's see if you're thinking like a native speaker. Which sentence fits? You started waking up at 5 a.m. last week. It's still difficult, but every morning gets easier. Would you say, A, I used to wake up at 5 a.m., B, I'm used to waking up at 5 a.m., or C, I'm getting used to waking up at 5 a.m.? Pause.
The answer is C, because you're still adapting.
Now another one. When you were a child, you played soccer every weekend. Today, you never play. Which one? A, I'm used to playing soccer. B, I used to play soccer. C, I'm getting used to playing soccer. Pause.
Correct answer, B. I used to play soccer. Past habit. Finished.
Last one. You've worked night shifts for 5 years. Sleeping during the day feels completely normal now. Which one? A, I'm getting used to working nights. B, I used to work nights. C, I'm used to working nights. Pause.
The answer is C, because now it's normal for you.
If you're still confused, remember just 3 questions. Question 1. Did it happen only in the past? Use used to.
Question 2. Am I still adapting? Use getting used to.
Question 3. Does it already feel normal? Use be used to.
Native speakers don't think about grammar charts. They simply ask themselves these 3 questions, and the correct expression comes naturally.
Feeling confident? Great, because the next part is where things get much more interesting. Bella and I are about to have a completely natural conversation using all 3 expressions exactly the way Americans do. No grammar labels, no hints, just real English. Your challenge? Count how many times you hear used to, be used to, and get used to. Let's see if you can catch every single one before we explain them. All right. No more explanations, no more grammar rules. It's challenge time.
Bella and I are about to have a completely natural conversation. Your job is simple. Count how many times you hear used to, be used to, get used to. Don't worry if you miss one. We'll review everything afterward. Ready? Let's go.
Coffee shop conversation. Ryan, do you ever miss your old apartment?
Honestly, yeah. I used to live just 5 minutes from work. I could walk there every morning.
That sounds nice. Now your commute is almost an hour.
I know. The first few weeks were terrible, but I'm getting used to it now. I usually listen to podcasts on the train.
That's a good idea. I've always worked from home, so I'm already used to spending most of my day alone.
Really? I don't think I could do that.
You'd be surprised. At first, it feels strange, but eventually, you get used to the quiet.
That's exactly how I felt about city life. When I first moved here, the traffic drove me crazy.
And now?
Now, I'm completely used to it. Actually, when I visit my hometown, it feels too quiet.
Funny how life changes. I used to hate waking up early. Now I wake up at 6 every morning, even on weekends.
Wow, I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
You said the same thing about spicy food.
That's true. I used to avoid spicy food completely. Now I'm used to it. Well, almost.
Progress is progress.
All right, how many did you hear? Let's check together.
Used to. I used to live. I used to hate. I used to avoid. 3 times. Past habits.
Getting used to. I'm getting used to it. You get used to the quiet. I'll never get used to that. 3 times. The process of adapting.
Be used to. I'm used to spending. I'm used to it. I'm used to spicy food. 3 times. Something feels normal now.
Did you notice something? During the conversation, we never stopped to think about grammar.
Exactly. That's how native speakers use these expressions, naturally, without translating, without memorizing rules.
But before you celebrate, there's one last thing you absolutely need to know, because there are a few mistakes that almost every English learner makes with these expressions. And once you avoid those, you'll sound much more natural than most learners. Before we finish, let's fix the 5 mistakes that stop English learners from sounding natural. If you avoid these, your English will instantly become more fluent.
I am used to wake up early. Sounds close, but it's wrong.
The correct sentence is, I'm used to waking up early. Remember, after be used to, use a noun or a verb ending in ing.
I'm getting used to drive in America. Again, not quite.
The correct version is, I'm getting used to driving in America. Same rule. Get used to plus noun or verb plus ing.
I'm used to play basketball. This is one of the biggest mistakes learners make.
If you mean it was your old habit, say, I used to play basketball. If you mean it feels normal now, say, I'm used to playing basketball. Same words, completely different meaning.
Many learners say, I didn't used to.
Native speakers say, I didn't used to, because did already makes a sentence past tense.
Using the wrong expression for the wrong situation. For example, you started a new job yesterday. Would you say, I'm used to my new job? Probably not.
You're still adapting, so naturally you'd say, I'm getting used to my new job. 6 months later, I'm used to my new job. Simple. Let's review everything in less than 1 minute.
Used to. A past habit or situation that doesn't exist anymore. I used to live in Chicago.
Be used to. Something feels normal now. I'm used to living in Chicago.
Get used to. You're still adapting. I'm getting used to living in Chicago.
One timeline, 3 expressions. That's exactly how native speakers think. Not grammar, life.
Before you go, write one sentence in the comments using used to, be used to, or get used to. We'll be reading your answers, and we'd love to see how you use today's lesson.
And if today's episode helped you stop guessing and start sounding more natural, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Talk Bella, and share it with a friend who's learning English too.
Thanks for spending time with us today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, every native speaker was once a learner too.
See you in the next episode of Talk Bella.